Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Kyle. I am the YouthCOR at Home Writing Club teacher. The materials you're going to need for this course are a pencil, a paper, and crayons or any other colored materials you use to color. Every week, there's going to be a new theme relating to an overall topic. This week's topic is heroes in training. This week's topic. We're going to be talking about superheroes, superpowers. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, here are my club rules. Raise your hand if you have a question. Do not interrupt the teacher. And make sure your mics are muted unless you have a question, because sometimes the technology does not sync up with the microphone, and it can cause a glitch. And most importantly, have fun with it. What is a hero? After watching the video, write 3 sentences for what makes a hero. Throughout the video, I'm going to explain certain concepts to give you a better idea of what to write about.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start.
That would be like the beginning of the hero's journey, like where the hero starts off.
1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help. Probably from someone older, wiser.
That could be like, for example, like in the Star Wars movies. Rey has Luke Skywalker and the other Jedi Masters. That would be an example of someone who is older and wiser who teaches the hero about certain lessons.
3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach.
So the trials would be like the levels in a video. Like the trials are kind of like a video game. They're like levels leading up to kind of like a boss battle. Like, for example, in Mario has to go through several levels in order to reach Princess Peach and fight off Bowser. The approach would be Bowser. The trials would be the levels.
It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock, crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies, only to be reborn. 7 o'clock, treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power.
That would be like a secret power-up or just a reward.
8 o'clock, result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock, return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock, new life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock, resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock, status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely, but let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey, Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo? Well, you're human, just like them. The hero's journey myth exists in all human cultures and keeps getting updated because we humans reflect on our world through symbolic stories of our own lives. You leave your comfort zone, have an experience that transforms you, and then you recover and do it again. You don't literally slay dragons or fight Voldemort, but you face problems just as scary. Joseph Campbell said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." What is the symbolic cave you fear to enter? Auditions for the school play? Baseball tryouts? Love? Watch for this formula in books, movies, and TV shows you come across. You will certainly see it again, but also be sensitive to it in your own life. Listen for your call to adventure. Accept the challenge. Conquer your fear and claim the treasure you seek. And then, do it all over again.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you guys wrote some really good sentences for what makes a hero. That was really informative. Okay, next slide. And click. What's the difference between a hero and a villain? In 5 sentences or more, describe what the difference between a hero and a villain is. 3 sentences for heroes, 2 sentences for villains. So in this example, I chose Iron Man as the hero and Thanos as the villain. Now for the fun part. Write 5 sentences for what your superpower would be. It could be any superpower you desire. If you had a secret lair, where would it be? Every superhero needs a secret lair / hideout. Where would yours be? Write about it in 4 or more sentences. Make sure you give plenty of details. For example, some examples of secret lairs would be like how Batman has the Batcave, or how Superman has his Fortress of Solitude, or the Avengers have their tower. It doesn't have to be those exact layers, but just an idea of it. For example, if you guys have seen the show Phineas and Ferb, this is a common example of an evil lair.
Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated!
Like that. Okay, moving on. Would you team up with other superheroes? When fighting bad guys, it is important to work together with other heroes. In 4 sentences, write who you would team up with and why. It could be any superhero you want. It could be like, for example, in the photo here, we have Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales teaming up. They're all friends here. It could even be you could team up with the Avengers or the Justice League. As long as you guys have a reason to hang out or even just pal around or just like keep an eye on things. It's important that you team up with other heroes because superheroes can't do it all in one take. Next slide. Congrats! You got through your superhero training. Now all that's left is your superhero costume. What is your superhero name? When designing your costume, no stick figures. If you have crayons, color pencils, markers, or even highlighter, just make sure you give your creation some color. Not everything has to be in black and white, you know. Another major rule I have about designing things in this club, please do not criticize other people's drawings. It's not nice. How would you like it if somebody made fun of your drawings or even your writings? You wouldn't like that very much, would you? So in the next slide, I'll show you what I drew. So since I love Pokemon, I decided to choose a mixture of Pokemon into one costume. I call him Pokemon with the abilities of mixed Pokemon. So my my lair would be a secret fortress underground, because hardly anybody ever goes underground. Here is my design.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pokemon! I mean, man! So, what I drew here was I combined a bunch of Pokemon. I have Squirtle's Turtle Shell, Poliwrath's Swirl Thing, Machamp's 2 extra arms, Charmander's tail and feet, Ekans as my right arm, Pikachu's ears and red cheeks, Jigglypuff's eyes, Bulbasaur's plant, Ghastly on my left hand, it's important. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you guys have fun with it, that's totally fine. I wouldn't stress about it being perfect or not as good as somebody else's. The important part is that if you design something, it's only yours. Be an original person. Don't copy somebody else's idea. It's important that you stay original and not try to be like everybody else. Because superheroes are usually their own thing. Like, for example, Captain America isn't like Iron Man, and vice versa. Captain America isn't like Iron Man. It's important that you guys have your own ideas and your own thoughts. The main thing I want you guys to do the next couple of weeks, I want you to practice reading your answers, sharing your designs, and sharing and writing in detail to the questions I ask. Because when you're in middle school or even high school, it's important that you be able to share as many details as possible. For example, if I were to explain what I was drawing, I would say, "Oh, his head is green," or "Oh, his tail is orange with a fire at the end," or "Pikachu's ears are yellow." It's important that when you're detailing things, you give plenty of adjectives. Some of you may not know what an adjective is. An adjective describes a noun. That would be an example would be Captain's Captain America's shield is red, or Hulk is green, or the Hulk is angry. When you're detailing your work, it's very important for the teacher to see that you're detailing your work. Because not everybody understand because not everybody can see what you're thinking. So it's important that you kind of paint a picture verbally to help the teacher understand what you're writing or what you're seeing or even what you're picturing in your head, because they can't like see inside your head, even though that would be kind of cool. But it's important that you describe all of your work. It doesn't even have to be exactly like somebody else's or even like mine. And when you're having trouble spelling something or describing something, feel free to ask. Ask a parent. Ask me. I'm really good at spelling. But it's important that you guys are engaged during this time. Because I know it's hard with you not being able to see your friends and everything with the whole quarantine being around. But it's important that you stay up to date on your studies, like writing, math, reading. Because YouthCOR everybody in YouthCOR is working really, really hard to make sure you guys are still receiving like some education and more knowledge to what you are learning. because not everybody has learning opportunities like we do. It's important to stay in school or even just keep reading. Always make sure you read some type of book. You can learn from anything. Like, it could be like a textbook or a comic book even. Comic books actually offer a lot of good ideas and even really good lessons. Like, for example, in my Spider-Man book, it shows plenty of cool ideas and really cool like thoughts and designs. Like, for example, like in every little thought bubble, there's little words describing key details. Comic books are kind of like watching a movie, except you read what's going on instead of like hearing sound effects or hearing the music in the movies. Like, for example, if you were reading a Star Wars comic book, you wouldn't hear the lasers, but you would be able to hear, but you would be able to see the words of the sound effects in the comic books. Like, for example, if somebody fired a blaster in a Star Wars comic book, you would hear pew, pew, pew. And the cool part is when you're reading a book, even if you haven't even seen like a movie or a TV show version of it, you can create your own image of what the character looks like. And the cool part about reading is, especially comic books, is some of the heroes in the comic books can be really inspirational. Like, for example, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. What I learned from Spider-Man is, with great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man is new to his powers. He doesn't really know what to do with them yet, but he fights people because he wants to protect those without powers. I.e., in other words, great responsibilities. Or, for example, in Infinity War, when Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Iron Man, Spider-Man are all fighting Thanos, they fight for one main goal. They fight for the main goal to protect everybody on the Earth. It's important that Thanos doesn't win or receive his goal, which is like collecting all the Infinity Stones. It's important that heroes give a reason for people to stand up for themselves or fight for the little guy. I'm not saying you have to go out and like fight everyone, because there's always going to be somebody bigger than you. And you could get hurt that way. So I would not recommend doing anything in real life that you would see in a comic book, because that's just not safe. Be your own hero. reach new challenges. For example, if you're not good at math, study math. Go to tutoring, get tutoring, or give tutoring to a friend who understands what they have to do. It's important that everybody faces their fear of something. If it's a realistic goal or dream, make sure you achieve it. If you want to be a basketball player, play basketball with friends, play games, play one-on-one, or join the basketball team at your school, or even at your local gym or something. If you want to be a dancer, watch YouTube videos. Watch how people use step-by-steps to how to become a successful dancer. For example, I want to be a teacher. So the reason why I'm becoming a teacher is because I want to see people achieve their dreams. I'm a dreamer. I love dreaming. But you can only make your dreams come true if you want them to come true. Don't just say you want to be something. Strive to go out and be something. It's important that kids learn that. Because when you're a dreamer, the sky's the limit. Don't let anybody stop you from reaching your dreams. That's just not cool. Because everyone has their own right to be their own special person, their own hero. If you have any questions for me, I would love to hear them. Or any thoughts you may have. If you need anything at all, just text in Google Classroom. I'll happily answer when I have the chance. Okay, so I will see you guys next time. Keep washing those hands. Be good to one another. And keep reading those books. Keep reading those books, keep writing, keep dreaming, and keep being awesome people. My name is Kyle Bushnell, Mr. Kyle to you students, and I will see you next time.